Namaskar. Hello and welcome to PGurus channel. I'm your host Sri Iyer. Today I have with me Dr. Subramanian Swamy, 6 times parliamentarian, former law, justice and commerce minister, and he was there at the moment or around the time that Sri Rajiv Gandhi, an ex-prime minister, got assassinated in Sri Perumbudur, Tamil Nadu. So we're going to talk to him a little bit about what has happened yesterday, about the Supreme Court judgment to let all the killers of Rajiv Gandhi be free after 30 years in jail. Dr. Subramanian Swamy, namaskaram and welcome to PGurus channel, sir.
Namaskaram to you also.
Dr. Swamy, many of our viewers may not even remember all the happenings that took place about 31 years ago, sir. And maybe we can start, I leave it to you wherever you would like to start, sir, because you were the government at that point, even though you may be a caretaker government, but you're still, responsible for all these things. Kind of walk us through how things led up to this assassination, because there were many questions that I might ask you, but I'll first let you lead in with the story, sir.
Yeah. Well, first of all, when we took office in 1990, Rajiv Gandhi was out of power and he was supporting our government. Chandrasekhar was put up because I and Rajiv Gandhi came up to a deal. And I've been over that decade a great friend of his, very, very cordial, extremely well. We used to meet very often and exchange views very closely. When it was decided that I would go and supervise the dismissal of the DMK government, which was at that time passing all central government secrets that we were sending to them for their benefit to the LTT. They had LTT guys in the party office on Mount Road of DMK. So I was asked to tell Karunanidhi that he shouldn't do it. If he continues to do it, we will dismiss the government. Of course, Karunanidhi laughed it off, saying "Ratathoda Arodo," which means rivers of blood will flow if you do that. Well, not even rivers of blood, even the cycle was not punctured. We did such a thorough job that I had to telephone Karunanidhi to come out of this Oliver Road house and not be afraid. That I said, I give you my word that we are not arresting you. And we took over the government. Now, the LTT always had Rajiv Gandhi's target, although Rajiv Gandhi tried his best. He brought Prabhakaran by Air Force jet to Bangalore for a discussion. But Prabhakaran was very determined. What was the issue? Rajiv Gandhi said, I have an agreement with the president of Sri Lanka, and the whole north and east, that is the entire Tamil belt, from Trincomalee to Jaffna, that entire area will be not policed by Sri Lankan police, but Indian troops. And 100,000 Indian troops were stationed there. And then what they did was they held elections and invited Prabhakaran to contest the elections. He said, no, elections I don't believe, I'm a Marxist. These are exact words. Please go back and see. He said once he was photographed taking a picture of Marx, but by mistake he had it upside down. So, he had to take that photo away. Maybe he doesn't know English and he was pretending to read the English book. So, at that time, I personally gave Karunanidhi a warning. You are allowing the LTT to come here. Those LTT people who are injured in the fight against the IPK of Indian troops, they are coming to Chennai. They are going to hospitals. You are funding it. You are paying the bills. What is this going on? They are killing our soldiers, and you want their people, injured people, to be looked after. Please stop it. He wouldn't stop it. So therefore, we had a cabinet committee on security, and in which Chandrasekhar and myself, Devilal would never come because everything was in English, so he didn't like it. So he didn't turn up. So there we decided that we will have president's rule. There are a lot of obstacles, but that is not germane to what we are discussing today. But finally, I got the clearance to go and sit in Madras and declare the president's rule. We declared it. Now, after that, there was a huge public search in our favor. In fact, when we held the elections, because we are required to hold elections after dismissing a government within 6 months, so we held an election. 234 seats went to, the assembly seats went to polls, and DMK won only 2, of which Karunanidhi was won by a very thin majority. So the public support was enormous. And when the campaign was going on, Rajiv Gandhi wanted to go on campaign. So I said, okay, security-wise, you can campaign jointly with Jayalalitha in the Marina Beach, nowhere else. He agreed, he came, he addressed the meeting and went back. Then suddenly one day, Chandrasekhar tells me, your friend is wanting to go again. Please go and tell him. Does he know what the threats are there? So I went and spoke to Rajiv Gandhi. He said, no, I am under pressure from Manishankar Iyer and Chidambaram that if I don't come again to their constituency, and like Margadam Chandrasekhar also, later on she also piled in, if I don't come to their constituency in campaign, the propaganda of DMK would do is that I am not. So why I'm telling you this is Rajiv Gandhi was snared into that which he should not have been. As party men, they should have said, stay away. Anyway, he came flying from Orissa to Chennai, but on the way, the plane got some technical things, so he landed in Visakhapatnam, and it was 9 o'clock at night. He phoned up his daughter. Unfortunately, in those days, whether you order it or don't order it, our intelligence bureau used to tap every telephone. So there's a tape still there somewhere. He talked to his daughter. His wife was dead keen. He still should go. And there was some other issues which I don't want to bring in as personal issues. So he then went back, and at 9:45 he took off, came to Madras, landed at 10 o'clock, landed up at Sri Perumbudur in 10:30. Now, I had supervised the security to the extent it was given to me. I told them, nobody will garland. Only tundu. Tundu, you know what tundu means.
Yes,
that we wear, which are made out of cloth.
Right. Angavastram, it's called. Angavastram.
Yeah. Means towel.
Right.
I said only, and 25 with the name, with their names pre-cleared. Otherwise, they will not be allowed. And when he addresses the meeting, only Mupanar and two other, Jayanti Natarajan, etc. We selected 4 people. It's all there. Where is all this? It is there in Justice, who later became Chief Justice, J.S. Verma. Verma Commission report is something nobody reads. And Narasimha Rao was under pressure to reject it when it was presented after Narasimha Rao became Prime Minister. And in that, they record this, that they were only allowed to bring tundu and 25 people. So there stood 25 people. Rajiv Gandhi gets down. And a man, I forget his name, he was a Christian from Vellore. He makes a statement on the microphone. All those who want to garland நம்ம தலைவரை மாலை போடுறதுக்கு விரும்புறாங்களோ வரலாம், எல்லாரும் வரலாம். There's all those who want to garland our leader can now come forward. This lady, I shouldn't be calling her a lady, but this terrorist, Danu, that was a make-believe name. She had some other name, and she came with a garland and got into the line. And strategically, somebody brought somebody's daughter and said, stopped Rajiv Gandhi, who was supposed to just take the towels and go. But instead, he stopped. And a little girl said, I want to recite a poem I've made for you. At that time, Danu blew herself up and blew Rajiv's, he was unidentified from the front side. So, who was that man? We have never located him. We know his name, but he has disappeared. And J.S. Verma records that had it not been for that statement and the violation of that 25 persons rule, Rajiv Gandhi would not have been assassinated. It's not only Rajiv Gandhi, 18 policemen were assassinated. And all the families of those 25 people said, Sir, they all came to me, said, only you can do it. See that these people are punished. But the question is, how do you establish that this was the LTT's job? Fortunately, by a quirk of fate, the lady who blew up, I still call her lady who blew up Rajiv Gandhi, she was blown to bits, but her head was not. And it went like a rocket and fell somewhere else. And that was rescued by our police. And we got her facial ID. And then we didn't know, who is she? And at least the one thing stopped, because she was wearing salwar kameez. So everybody said she was a Sardani. So they tried to put it on the Sikhs, but it didn't happen, because we found that she had a Tamil face. So, I mean, the way the Tamils dress and so on, her face was completely untouched. And so, find out that. Fortunately, the man who gave us clue as to who she is was Prabhakaran himself. On 10th June, he addressed a public meeting in Jaffna. I thought he was going to say, I'm very sorry, Rajiv Gandhi died, we don't believe in such things or something. Instead of that, he said, Raja Ratnam, number Tangam. Ratnam became Tangam. And he said, this great poet has to be honored. So only thing that happened in that speech, that meeting, was honoring a man who died in 1970. Unsung, in poverty, in India. And he digs him up. So I had a lot of these Jaffna friends who were, people who are for democracy and so on, but too afraid to come out in the open. So I asked one of them, I can name him now. His name is Chandra Hassan, who ran this refugee organization for refugees who have come to India. I asked him, who's this Rajaratnam? So he said, Rajaratnam, no, hardly anybody knows. He was a failed poet, but his daughter was the Tamil Tigers chief. That's the first lead we got. So we went all over the world and picked up wherever we could get the Tigers magazines. And there was one with a front page with a photo, and it matched 100% of face. That's how we identified it. So there was no doubt the LTT did. After that, before I conclude and ask, if you have any questions, things began to move. People were arrested. TADA was applied. And then once TADA was applied, they were convicted. And TADA means murder. I mean, murder means death. So the judgment was to hang them. So I think there were 26 people who were in one blow asked to be hanged. I mean, told to be hanged. The the court, Tata court said. They came in appeal. And in the appeal, because of Tata, they lost. So in 1991 May, 1998, 1999 May, the judgment came. And they all of them were convicted. But then the BJP government had come to power, and they had DMK as an ally, and they started dragging it. So finally, under pressure, with many of us saying, why not, it was fixed for October 6th, 1999. But very soon, Mr. Advani, for some inexplicable reason, accepted a letter from Sonia Gandhi that Nalini at least should be spared. Nalini was the one who took Jantanu there, who even dressed her up, put all those bombs, etc. She was completely complicit. Now she has a daughter born in the jail, illegitimately. And now she may have married him and all that, but it was post. So she was pregnant when she was arrested, and the girl was born in jail. And Miss Sonia Gandhi paid for her education, sent her to London, where she became a doctor. All Christian karuna. That's what it was explained to me when I asked some congressman, "What the hell are you doing? You know how highly I thought of Rajiv Gandhi. I have a right to ask." So they said, no, this is Christian forgiveness. And surprisingly, the jail manual says that nobody but family can visit convicts. But Priyanka went there. No permission, nothing. Had a talk with her. And Christian and nobility, journalists like Barka Dutt and all were singing praise. So from that day onwards, it was how to get the LTT arrested people off the hook. First thing that came is, by the way, I will say to you one thing. Please read the Supreme Court judgment of 1999, May 2nd or May 3rd. There is a separate judgment given by, because some of the judges had disagreement, but the majority was by Mr. Kadri, whose name is forgotten. I don't know whether he's still alive. He should get the Bharat Ratna for his bravery. He gave a long judgment why Nalini and others must be hanged. And that's what the Supreme Court judgment was. They should be all hanged. I identified 4 because there was a judge from, Bleeding Heart from Kerala called Thomas, I think. Oh, he said, no, they should be all let off. They should be given life imprisonment, etc. To cut a thing short, the process began from there. Then Sonia Gandhi wrote a letter to the President of India that Nalini should be forgiven. No explanation given. That letter should be produced by the Congress today and said, this is the copy of it. This is what we gave to the President. And then the DMK had come to power. Then they began doing this. I had been to court several times to undo what the DMK tried to do. Then I got fed up because the BJP leadership was also in favor of letting them go, and so was they. The biggest indication of BJP being in favor of letting them go is you find that in this last hearing, the BJP Solicitor General, Advocate General, not Solicitor General, Attorney General, nobody was present. It was an ex-party order. If they were too frightened, they could have asked me. I would have gone and argued for the government. At least for once I would have argued for the government. So that is the issue which concerns me. That a man who was the Prime Minister of India, whose only fault was that a parliament resolution asking Mr. Rajiv Gandhi to restore human rights for the Tamils, for which he had an agreement with the president of Sri Lanka, and took over that area, held elections, and there was a total peace, except that the LTT kept trying to kill our IPKF. And then suddenly, those sacrifices are forgotten. The 18 policemen, please go and interview them. Today they'll be all weeping, I'm telling you. They all had hope that they would be hanged. And they have spoken to so many people, so many times in the press, nobody gives a damn. But these people must get karuna. They must have a large heart. What is Rajiv Gandhi? For Sonia Gandhi, one husband gone, that's all. Where was the seriousness? If Sonia Gandhi had come out and said, I won't tolerate this, the people who killed my husband should be allowed to let go free, I think there would have been a totally different picture. So the real issue begins now. Are we going to protect our prime ministers who take tough decisions, who take decisions in the interest of the country? Rajiv Gandhi is hated for three things. One, he invaded Maldives and restored it back to the Democrats who were deposed by some LTT types who had come and tried to take over by armed revolution. He sent, it was very much, he was attacked, and even the Americans that time had attacked him. Then, because it shows India had become a kind of a local power, so to speak. The second thing is that we betrayed the IPKF. 1,500 people died. We all made them come back with their tails between their legs. Discredited. Many soldiers don't even want to admit that they served in Jaffna.
So that took place under VP Singh, right?
Well, the withdrawal began with VP Singh. That's true. Because VP Singh had people who were, the people who were supporting were the DMK. There were ministers who were there. So, yes, VP Singh, fully responsible. He is the Prime Minister. But Vajpayee could have reversed it. Because they had the matter, whatever his VP Singh didn't last long. He only was there for 7 months. Vajpayee was there for 6 years. So he could have reversed it. So, in fact, Vajpayee government was toppled by me. You remember there was that Tea Party thing and all that.
Right.
It was partly an anger because he tried to implicate Narasimha Rao, Swamy, Chandrasekhar, and myself in the assassination. Of course, when I took it up in Parliament, he immediately backed off. He said, no, there's some typing mistake or something. You should read my 1 hour speech about this whole thing. So there was Jethmalani. He was an advocate for the LTT. And he was a minister also of Mr.
Justice
Vajpayee.
Minister. Yeah. Law
Minister. So everybody was trying to somehow curry favor with the LTT. Why? I couldn't understand. Were they afraid of something? Or they felt that the killing of Rajiv Gandhi was a good thing? I don't know. These are things that would require a book to be written. Unfortunately, I have written a book on Rajiv Gandhi's assassination, which was a bestseller in this 20. But there I had to stop. I mean, by then I mentioned all these things, you see. There was a publisher called Konarak. I don't know whether it's still around. They published it. It was a bestseller. So, and of course, naturally, the LTT was dead against me. That's why I got all this Z security and all that. And that, by the way, is also withdrawn by Mr. Vajpayee. Later on, withdrawn by Miss Sonia Gandhi. And was only restored after BJP came to power. So, I think the LTT, understandably, first of all, they don't think that Brahmins should have guts. And they see people like Sri Iyer and Swamy, they think this might become a pandemic or something like that. So, broadly speaking, the matter is not over. We know who the killers are. Now, who are the people who let the killers go? Those are the people who have to be investigated.
Thank you so much, Dr. Swamy. It took a little long, but I think we've got a complete grasp of what played out. And Dr. Swamy, I just had a quick question for you. Which year did Priyanka Gandhi go and visit Nalini in the jail?
2005.
So that means that the UPA was in power.
Yes, of course, UPA was in power.
So it was a game, set, and match. I mean, it's all. No, there was nobody going to be stopping them and saying rule.
They were ministers also.
Sir, what is the interest for Sonia Gandhi to be so large-hearted? Is there something beyond that we can't see with naked eye?
Well, I'll say I will give you two, and then I'll give you two, and you put them together and get four if you are clever. Okay, so. First is, Quattrochi was served a term before coming to Delhi in Chennai and had developed relations with the LTT in the 70s. And, the LTT was still a growing organization. Prabhakar was hiding in Chennai because the Sri Lankan government was looking for him. So that is the first connection, which is two. Second is the LTT had a most flourishing, paying outfit in Sicily. Sicily is the best place for drug running, and they are superb in drug running. They never touched any of it, never disappeared, they delivered. So internationally, as drug runners, they were known as world's number one. And there is a still undenied thing in Paris. It is in a very famous hotel, Ritz Hotel or something like that, where there was a news item. I have not been able to get any. Only two people were there. Sonia's mother and Balasingham had a meeting. And there are all kinds of speculations as to what was discussed and so on, because even from the LTT side, in order to enhance their reputation, we have to then go into the question as to what was the actual marital relations between Rajiv Gandhi and Sonia Gandhi. So all be very thing that nobody wants to get into. But I can say that Rajiv Gandhi was a great patriot, got entangled in that Bofor's matter like a fool. In the sense, he had to yield where he should not have yielded into family. Quattrochi in particular, and Quattrochi's advocate, Miss Sonia Gandhi. So he got into a royal fix, and but he was a patriot. He built the Indian army. He gave a thrashing to the Chinese in Sumdurung Valley, which the Chinese even today remember. That's why they don't mess around in Arunachal anymore. They prefer Ladakh. So I'm really sorry that his life was snapped at such a short thing. But what Rajiv Gandhi privately told me, I can't say, because they'll say he's not there, so you can say anything you like for political advantage. But the fact is that pre-assassination and post-assassination, what is the need for Mr. Chidambaram and here to scream for his coming, when the whole world knew that we are going to win hands down? Out of 234 seats, DMK won only 2 seats. Now, how are you going making this hullabaloo about Rajiv Gandhi having to come? Forced him to come. And so did Margaret Chandrasekhar. She had a Sri Lankan daughter-in-law, I think, or son-in-law, I don't know which, or something. So there are a lot of other things that the matter has not been gone into. See, no assassination I've seen the world over has been ever final. The Kennedys, even today, nobody knows exactly what happened.
Right.
So I think this is what I would say, that there were a lot of players, and if you want to protect this country, keep it safe, then please take this seriously. If there's any way the matter can be taken up, I got fed up. I had been to Madras 4 times to stop them from being released by the DMK government. I succeeded. Then they come to the Supreme Court, and people say Swamy has no other activity. I mean, it's not my activity anyway to go and stop them from being released. When the government of the day doesn't want to stop them, how am I going to explain? I can criticize them, which I am doing.
Dr. Swamy, one thing that I have been trying to get a hold of is that J.S. Verma Commission report. It is not on the web. It is not on the web.
I know it must have been taken off because it came and was put on the table of the House, and Narasimha Rao was very unhappy, but he told me, I have to reject it. I will not accept it. If he had accepted it, then they would have to have action committee and this and that. But I have a book somewhere saved in some corner. I'll make a photostat copy and send it to you.
Yes, sir. We'll connect on that one.
Maybe you can have another show on that.
Yes. In fact, that was my idea, to try and, because see, when you have data, you have irrefutable facts, right? There is nobody who's going to be arguing. This one, I am surprised that
just one interruption, by the way. Yes, I was law minister, so I chose Verma in the house residence of the Chief Justice Ranganath Mishra, and I said I want him. He said we are fed up with sitting on commission inquiry and then get abuses from everybody. I said I will ensure that no one will abuse, because then I'll go after them. Then he said, okay, whatever I conclude, you're okay with it? I said, whatever you conclude. No one will tell you anything. So, sorry to say, J.S. Verma did a fantastic job. Fantastic job. He should be given Bharat Ratna for that.
Dr. Swamy, J.S. Verma has also done some other fantastic findings, including one dubious appointment of the SEBI chairman. And that was again to help a very good friend of yours, who's also whose name got bandied just now. Any rate, sir, today some congressmen have expressed unhappiness over Sonia Gandhi's support for this. Now, is this some sort of like I'll make believe that I am, playing both sides of the game? Do you think
good cop, bad cop routine?
Good cop, bad cop. Is that what is happening, sir?
Well, I mean, what have they said? They haven't said very much. Yes, they have. A discordant note has been put in, but that's not good enough. I think this is good enough for them to leave the party. I mean, here's a man who got you 422 seats in Lok Sabha, which even Jawaharlal Nehru couldn't get. And then I was a hope till this Bofors thing completely ruined his reputation. Only time when we crossed 2.5% GDP for defense was with Rajiv Gandhi, and he took it all the way up to 4.3%. And the Time magazine, if you hunt for it, front page, the new maniac in Asia or something like that, because he was buying this, he was buying that, and so on. And he was setting up this plant and that plant. Oh, he was very clear, and he said to me that I have given a message to the Chinese. I said, why don't you publicize it? He said that will make it difficult because it's a one-time thing. Then they will have to try and undo it. If there's a war, I will publicize it, he said. He was in all that Nehrus are not. And maybe that's why they want to forget it.
See, it's still, you mentioned few things in passing, and I leave it to our viewers to connect the dots. I know what you're implying, sir, but let's not, talk about that. Because again, it comes back to one thing. Isn't the life of the prime minister of the country important enough that everybody stand behind and say the law has to do what it is supposed to do? Why all this wiggle room, sir? And what is in it for DMK? When are they going to say, like, this is a national matter? Did they not sign before they got contesting into elections that they will support India and they are part of India?
They don't care. It's the most immoral party, I think, in the history of the world. If you're Guinness Book of World Records, you have to include who is the most immoral party in the world history. It will be DMK. I mean, they do violence. They do what they do with women. I mean, and then they got all these crazy ideas. They are Dravidians. What is Dravidians? A regional term, means South India. Travid means where the three coastlines meet. And it's got nothing to do. No, we are Dravidians. We are different people. And then they go after all these helpless Brahmins, pujaris, and so on. And cut their punal and so on. This has to be dealt. I dealt with them very strongly. I told Karunanidhi, I'll dismiss your government. And he said, their rivers of blood will flow. I said, even a cycle will not be burnt, and not even a cycle was to be burnt. And finally, I had to rescue him from Oliver Road, where he was with his 3 wives, you see.
What are the options legally at this point? Can they be still put back into jail for good? Or is that now a done thing? See, what happens is, something is really, really sad here, leaving a bad taste in the mouth of... I'm seeing the comments, Dr. Swamy, where people are saying that how could this government do a no-show?
Yeah, I agree. They didn't no-show. And they were also... when Modi and Stalin met, there was some agreement.
Sir, do you know what happened yesterday in Dindigul? In this Gandhigram college thing?
What?
So the national anthem was being sung. The entire group sang it, except for one individual standing by the side of Modi. Modi is singing, and he is looking to his left like this. You can see my eye, right? He's looking to the left to see if Mr. Stalin opens his mouth. The guy stood like a dumbass. I mean, sir, where is... This is unbelievable, sir. Unbelievable.
So much for patriotism.
Yeah.
Well,
there is a limit to, what kind of... see, if there was a dialogue between Mr. Modi and Mr. Stalin on this topic, I mean, I think, then we have to question everything. Isn't the Prime Minister's life worth something? Forget about the person. It's the post we are talking about.
During Vajpayee's term, he gave... Vajpayee made this members of Vaiko's party, which was a separate party in those days, purely LTT. He made them ministers. So, why would you do that? You Could have said because I think they had 3 MPs or something. He could have said, all right, you want to go? Because he had a much bigger majority after the DMK came, and the DMK never liked 𝙒𝙂𝗍𝘀. So they could have said, but he didn't. And 𝙒𝙂𝗍𝘀 became the best friend of Advani. I told Advani ji must have been doing it under direction, because normally he is, by instinct, he's a patriot. And he explained to me also, why he had to refer Nalini's case to the governor, when he should have, because the president sent it to him asking for an opinion. Who rejected it? It was a Congress president. What was her name? That lady, Patil, Pratibha Patil.
Pratibha Patil.
He rejected it, and it was again revived. You see, you go back and see. I can even tell you the date. I got it somewhere here. When she rejected it, you see, 2011, August 11th, 2011. President Pratibha Patil rejects the mercy petitions. And then it went back again. The truth is, I don't embarrass you, Modi is soft on terror. That's the only conclusion I have after seeing what's happening with China, what's happening with Pakistan, and now this.
Well, it's a somber thought that the highest, first among equals, the most important person that runs the country is being treated this way. That's what is sticking here, sir. Here, this is what is sticking here. You see, remember at the trial where Sonia Gandhi and Rahul Gandhi had to show up in Patiala court, right, in the National Herald case, these people left the ex-Prime Minister, Mr. Manmohan Singh, to stand. And
I had to give him I had to ask my associate, Ishkaran Bhandari. He said, please get up and give your chair to him.
See, that is the respect to the Prime Minister. These are, I mean, what are we? I mean, we are beyond a banana republic, sir. This is...
No, I'm not surprised. It's a question of upbringing. There is something called upbringing. It's not that you have to be rich or have a better upbringing. You can go to a good school and study hard and make a name. Look at Ambedkar. What a polished gentleman he was. Came from the poorest of the poor.
Yes. In fact, many of you can listen to some of his speeches on YouTube. They are available.
Achha.
Very clarity of thought, sir. It comes through clearly. Very, very, very clear.
Jawaharlal Nehru, like Modi, drove him to lose his deposit in 2 Lok Sabha elections by stealing all his booth agents. He was so jealous of him. He got a PhD in economics from Columbia in 1916. Can you imagine 1916 to get a PhD? When I got a PhD from Harvard in 1963 or 64, people were shocked. And all this Swamy has done it in 1.5 years. How is it possible? And that to an Indian. You see, so I think you're right. It's a question of recognition.
Dr. Swamy, we have a few questions for you. Could we have the questions on the topic only, please? We don't want to go beyond that. We just want to stay on the topic.
Someone wants to know when I will leave BJP. Never.
No.
BJP leave me? Yes, possible.
Sridhar K1 wants to know, emboldened by the release of these convicts to freedom unfettered, is DMK deep state planning to decimate BJP and other opponents?
Anything which is a northern creation, the DMK will definitely try to decimate it by 1,000 ways, whatever way is available. So BJP, if they go into an alliance, they will end up like Congress. What is Congress today? They're nothing. They get 2 seats, 3 seats, and that's it. But now even Their biggest proponent, Mr. Chidambaram, has to run to Maharashtra to get a Rajya Sabha seat.
Yes.
He can't get it. He lost it badly, and he lost it, and then they had to rig it. Karunanidhi himself told me at that time, because he had asked his IG police for security to go and get it done. That Chidambaram, who had lost by 3,000 votes, had to be made to win by 4,000 to 5,000 votes. And the IG, he was forget his name, he was in charge of the intelligence. And he went and ensured through the wife of the returning officer that he reversed his already announced result. Where they're today.
Ramani Kirtivasan wants to know, why did the government lawyer did a shoddy job in SC? Will accountability and responsibility be taken by center?
He was on the order of the center to not even be present. So there's no question of shoddy job. There was no job.
Ramani, this is not the first time. For several of the bail hearings of Mr. Chidambaram, the government's lawyer was a no-show. He used to get a walkover.
Even for Ram Setu, the same thing happened, and then the court fired them. Why are you dragging your feet? Imagine court telling a government, why are you dragging your feet on Ram Setu, which is part of our manifesto?
Jayanti Keshav wants to know, gruesome murder of a PM, but the killers are being released, disheartening, and TN government has nothing to say. How can we have such laws? Who is DMK protecting? Lot of doubts in people's mind. What is the question, Jayanti? We all are saying the same thing. Go ahead, sir.
No, I'll answer it in a short way. I know what she's trying to say. First of all, this court having no support from the government side, and the people who had come up and made only a humanitarian thing, the court used Article 142, which gives blanket powers to the court if there is no contest. There was no contest. So they didn't say that the murder, the conviction for murder is set aside, or that the imprisonment is set aside. They only said under 142 article of the Constitution, which gives blanket powers to, in emergency situations, to the court can act on it. And what will the court think? That the government is not interested? Why we should take a thing when we have nothing before us? At least one thing could have been put in, that would have been enough to get an adjournment and then later on a much better presentation. Or they could have asked me, but then I would have got a big name. So that Mr. Modi doesn't want.
Next question, please. Santosh Kumar wants to know, is Gandhi family surrendered to MK family? Why can't we put stiff penalties on parties that don't have national interest in action?
Well, I mean, Gandhi family is a wrong word. I should say probably Sonia's family or Italian family or whatever. But Gandhi's name shouldn't confuse anybody. There's no question of surrendering. They have been together. You know that on Setu Samudram project, Sonia Gandhi and Karunanidhi together decided that Setu Samudram project will be there and it will cut through Ram Setu. They even filed an affidavit which they had to withdraw because the hullabaloo I created, that it's a mythical thing. How can we? In fact, it is instead of Ram Setu, you should quote it after that fellow who came from heaven and walked on it.
Adams, yeah.
Adams, yeah. This is the extent they went. Nobody said anything. She addressed a joint meeting with Karunanidhi in outskirts of Madurai to support the dismemberment of the Ram Setu. Nobody cared. So how can now you ask why? It doesn't then make them that they don't have national interest in action.
Sanatana Dharma wants to know what vested Modi government has by remaining absent in court proceedings which led to unopposed reliefs of Rajiv Gandhi convicts.
Give me 2 weeks. I don't want to just speak offhand. But it is obvious that they didn't have any interests, which was under the constitutional ballot and the oath of office. So what is it that made them do it? Give me 2 weeks. Maybe you can call me again.
Yes, absolutely, sir. I'll be happy to do that. And viewers, this was a meeting, hangout done at very short notice. Dr. Swamy, I know you're very busy because I know you have to rearrange a few things so that you could be present for this hangout. The thing here is, what is a country? What are your obligations as a citizen? Why should something like this happen? An elected member, is this the way you treat your prime minister? That is what is the thing that kind of at the end and this whole thing, the wife of the person goes to bat for the killers. So does the daughter. I mean, it's meaningless if you think about it. What exactly is, where does the world come to, sir? These are your closest friends for life. Anyway, I'm just ranting here, but I'm struck that something like this is happening.
Well, we have only examples in our own history of women like Padmini and all, even ready to give their life up. But we don't know whether the same morals apply abroad. But I think it is something which no wife and no child of the mother can ever tolerate it.
Well, thank you very much, Dr. Swamy. And let's reconvene in about a couple of weeks' time and take it forward again. And viewers, thanks for all your support. Please like, share, and subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to click on the bell button for notifications. Thank you, sir. Namaskaram.
Namaskaram.